We'll call the meeting of the City of Hawarden City Council to order on Wednesday, January 11th, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. All present are council members, myself, staff members, other than Mike DeBrine, who got called away on police business. Two changes to the agenda this evening. The December 28th, 2016 claims for payment were not in the packet, so they will not be voted on this evening. And hospital project update, Jason Pullman is out of town this evening, won't be here for agenda item number 3. Agenda item number 1A is the approval of the December 14th, 2016 City Council meeting minutes. They're in your packet. Is there a motion for approval? Moved by Payne. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim. Further questions or clarifications? All in favor then, please, of the December 14th, 2016 City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 5-0. Next, for the January 11th, 2017 claims for payment, I ask for questions, starting with John.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Payne, questions?
None, thank you.
Tim? Travis, any questions?
None, thanks.
Monty, questions? Nope. Okay. Is there a motion for approval of January 11th claim for payments?
So moved.
Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that passes 5-0. Agenda item number 1C, open business from the community. Hearing none, we'll move to the mayor's report. Short mayor's report tonight. Chamber banquet, which is January the 28th. Please remind all of our citizens to keep your sidewalks shoveled and cleaned as quickly as possible. And lastly, with the cold weather, please take care of your neighbors, watch out for them, and also your pets. So it's important to be careful with all the cold weather that's happening here lately. Anything from council comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll start with staff reports. Tom, you want to start with anything?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Nothing? Okay. Gary, anything?
I just want to, first of all, apologize. I didn't have the December 28th claims on. I didn't catch it, and going a month between council meetings, it was my fault. I overlooked it, so it'll be on the next meeting for you. Also, let's see if there's something else. Sunday Ford had contacted me and asked to not have the Nature Center on the agenda for a while, at least, until I think she wants to. They moved their application for the grant to April, and I think she wants the opportunity to visit with each of you again prior to it being on the agenda. So that's the reason that it's not on tonight. So.
Okay. Anything from Jim or Pam? Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Move on to other agenda items. We'd like to continue on the mayoral appointments, please, with Travis as the mayor pro tem, Tim as chamber board representative, and John for the Economic Development Committee. Thank you for agreeing to those appointments. Appreciate that very much. Agenda item number 4 is the approval of the final closeout documents for the Highway 10 streetlight replacement project. The total cost of that project is $150,431.76, which was about $7,000 less than was the contracted price. And so they're asking for the final document check of $7,521.57. Anything else you want to add to that, Gary?
No, that's unless you do, Tom. I don't have anything
No,
else to add.
I don't think so.
That project went
Self-explanatory.
very well with Shones and Volmers and DGR, I think.
Yes.
As you mentioned, a lot of good comments from citizenry in that. Is there a motion to approve the final closeout documents for the Highway 10 street replacement project?
So moved.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. Further questions or clarifications? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, that passes 5-0. Next, we're going to do an overview of the fiscal 2018 utility budgets. I'm going to pass this to Tom and Gary, please.
Again, what we typically do is present these at a meeting and then give you an opportunity for a couple of weeks to look them over, and then at the next meeting in January, we will get in more depth and discussion on the utilities, and then at that same meeting, I'll give you the general fund for you to review for the meeting after that. In this case, I'd just like to go through them real quickly and highlight. If you look at them, they're going to be very similar to last year's. I did highlight areas where there was any significant change, and in most cases, that's going to be in the capital outlay for projects, either up or down, and I'd ask that you review the capital outlay projects that we have listed prior to the next meeting, and we can maybe have some further discussion on those if you have anything to add or have concerns about what we're doing. See if there's anything significant that you would want to draw your attention to tonight as I go through here. Again, you'll see the purchase power is going to be down on electric because of our primarily because of the way some of our charges are working, and also I think the revenue side is going to be down slightly as well. Same is true on gas. Gas is primarily due to both load and also price. We've been purchasing gas at an extremely low price again this year. Tom's done a great job working with Bill Lindley in doing that. So we're estimating that our pricing is going to keep the retail revenues that we receive will be down slightly because of pricing, but so too will be our purchase costs. So in the end, our net result is pretty favorable. Telephone utilities, you're going to see, again, revenues continue to decline. I think we lost about 40 subscribers over the last calendar year on the phone, and that's just going to continue down that path as people eliminate their landlines. But we did on the cable side. Internet revenues are going to be up significantly. We picked up about 300 and some internet customers from over the last calendar year, approximately 300, give or take. So that's been pretty positive. Probably the only area, and I don't want to muddy the waters with our budget discussions and rate discussions, but I think the only area that we're probably going to look at the potential need for an increase, again, is going to be in our cable programming costs, and that's nothing more than a pass-through of costs that we're having to pay for programming, and a lot of it's due to the retransmission fees that we pay for KCAU, KTIV, KELO, and Fox. They continue to go up, and the other subscriptions do as well a little bit, but I would foresee that after we get through the budget process, I would foresee us having to have a discussion about cable pricing, but I don't see a need at this point this year to have any discussions on any of the other utilities for rate increases. So, and that's just kind of a brief overview, and I don't know if you have any questions tonight, but I thought we'd get more in depth on the utility side at the next meeting, if that's okay. Give you guys a couple weeks to review some of these numbers and go from there. I've asked Christy to prepare a cost of our actual subscription cost so that we can see where we're at. But again, I don't want to muddy the water with the budget discussion, but I want to get that to you guys so you have that to review as well. And you'll see that our subscription cost for cable is up significantly, and we're probably going to have to address that. But otherwise, our gas cost has been really, really solid. Electricity, no increases, actually a slight decrease. And when you consider, when you look at our contract with Missouri River and our transmission costs, we're seeing a slight decrease in our actual cost. The water increase that we did last year has helped. Wastewater, at some point, we may need to look at something, but not this year. We thought we would get some engineering done in the plant and look at what some of the costs might be for improvements down there, and then we can eventually tie that into cost increases if you need to do so at some point in the future. So, but until we have those numbers, there's no reason to talk about rates. So anyway, I think, again, I won't get into any depth unless you guys want to tonight, but I've highlighted all the areas that had any significant changes from the previous year and for your review, and just ask that you look it over and look at the capital projects that we have planned for next year, and then we'll talk about it in more depth in 2 weeks, if that's okay. Or if you have problems or questions tonight, I'd be glad to answer them to you. But I did input, just so you know, I've input the same transfers this year. We don't know what those are going to be yet, but I put the same transfers in. My initial review of some of the general fund stuff, I think we're going to be safe in doing that. I think I'm hoping that we can decrease them again. We've taken them from, I think when I started, they were 488,000, right around 500,000. This last year, they were at 240, and I would really like to, I'd like to find a way to decrease them a little more if we can, but my goal is to get them down to 250, and we're below that, but I'd really like to see them get lower. But just for discussion purposes tonight, I put the same transfers that we had last year in this year, so. And we won't know what those are going to be till we get through the general fund piece of the budget, but I think it's safe to say that they won't be any more than that. I feel pretty confident that that's safe to say. So, any immediate questions before we? Otherwise, we'll bring it back in 2 weeks and we'll get into more depth and detail. But please review the highlighted items and the capital projects, and those would be the things that we'll want to focus on, I would think. So, thanks. And Pam's doing a great job, by the way, in working through the budget process. Got to give her a little plug tonight.
What did you pay for that little ad?
It's a secret.
I get breakfast pizza tomorrow after saying that. No, she is. She's doing a great job, so working out well.
Thank you.
That's all I have, unless you guys will have more questions. So,
Any questions about budgets at this point? Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, the last agenda item then is a consent agenda for Sportsman's Lanes for liquor license transfer on January 21st, and Dollar General doing a renewal of the Class C beer permit, beer and wine with off-premise Sunday sales. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 5-0. Again, our next regular meeting now will be Wednesday, January 25th. As you can see, budget review, public hearing, opening bids, and quite a bit of business to be had at that day. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None. Thank you very much.